Hey everyone, I am Christina from ChristinaRisinger.com, and I'm here again with my husband Caleb.
Hey.
And this is our third episode of a grief video series that we decided to do for you guys. And today we are going to talk about the funeral and what happens after the funeral. So, you want to tell us a little bit about
Yeah, so going to cover kind of 2 points today. So one is what I would think is pretty common for a lot of people who've had a loss, which is what happens when you feel like everybody has kind of gone back to their normal life, but you're still, you're still real close to the funeral, and you're still feeling a lot of grief and a lot of feelings and emotion, and everybody has kind of had to go away that maybe had been giving you a lot of attention and had what we would call like a shared loss with you, but now everybody has to go back to work and has to go back to their daily kind of routine, and you might feel a little left out and lonely. Number two is kind of awkward conversations between people who've had the loss and the people that are around them that might know about it, or even sometimes people that don't know about it. So this is this awkward discussion, where you don't know what to talk about, and do they talk about the loss? Do you not talk about the loss? Do they bring it up? Do they not bring it up? And this will happen at places you'll go that you used to go before the loss, like work or church, or just to functions where people know you, and it's kind of like, well, they don't know what to say, and you don't necessarily know what to say either, or you might not want to talk about it, and so it's like an elephant in the room kind of thing.
Right. And as always, everybody does grieve differently, so this may or may not apply, but we have found that this is kind of a standard. So, you have several days, your loved one has passed away, and you have several days that are just like a whirlwind. There are people making all kind of arrangements. There are huge decisions that you have to make that you would hope that you didn't have to deal with right now. And you have a lot of things thrown at you. There's a lot of people telling you how sorry they are and trying to be there for you, and maybe bringing you food or watching your kids, or just doing various things for you because they know that it's a rough time. So they love you and they want to be there for you, so they offer all of this service towards you, and you're getting a lot of people just in and out. And then you have the funeral, and then everybody has to go back to work. Even your family members have to go back to work. It's he was here with me for a while, and I don't remember, did you get a week or two off? I think they may have given him a week or two off. I can't remember what the standard bereavement.
I had plenty of time off, leave. I was in the Navy at the time.
Yeah, so
that wasn't an issue as far as I had to go immediately back to work.
Right.
Although I know some people might have to not maybe take as much time as they would like. We were rather blessed that certainly the command was very good to me, and I've always had that experience where having plenty of time off for things that you needed to have time off for. So that was an issue for us.
Right, and I think it's different with small businesses. They only have to give you a few days dependent upon who it is in your family who has passed away. So you may or may not get a couple of days to a week or so off. And to be honest with you, that is only enough time to get through the funeral, right? It's not enough time to grieve. And so when you have all these people around you, you really are not thinking about processing that grief yet. Yes, you're sad, you're devastated, you're maybe in shock, a denial. Different people are different ways, but the thing is you're not able to really process it at that point. So when people start going back to their things because they have obligations that they have to fulfill, you can be left lonely and alone and quiet with your thoughts. And that is when the true struggle can come. When Caleb went back to work, I was left at home, and I had little kids that I had to take care of. So, they kept me on my toes. I had an obligation to my other children, so I couldn't grieve the way that maybe I should have. I had to do it in small increments, but that probably was good for me, because otherwise I might have been a heap on the floor for, until somebody picked me up. But other people, they lose somebody because they have to go back to work and everything, and they don't have anybody else around, and they can get lonely, and that brings on maybe some resentment from the people who walk away or have to go back to work. It might be bringing up some feelings of anger, or some feelings of sadness and depression, and all kind of emotions that you wouldn't really expect, because nobody is there all of a sudden. And it's not that they don't want to be there for you, they just have other obligations, and those things aren't necessarily on their mind, even though you think about them all the time. You've lost someone you love, and it is on your mind 24/7. When my kids were around, my little kids, they kept me busy, but as soon as I had a moment, whether most of the time it was driving or in the shower or, in the car somewhere, any time, little bit of time that I had alone, I was thinking about my daughter. And that was a moment that I had to grieve. The other thing he talked about was, did you want to say anything else about that?
Well, I would just say, so for both sides of the coin, to kind of wrap up that part we were talking about, is for the folks that are going through a loss, don't, kind of like before, always don't think the worst, always think the best. So people, I think most people understand that people have obligations and things that come up, and they're gonna not be able to spend the time with you that perhaps that you'd like. So just keep that in mind. And for the folks that are going back to work and getting back in their daily routines and what have you, just try to make a little extra effort to check back on the person. And probably most people will do that. But just give it a little extra thought to do that, and I think it'll turn out better for both sides.
Yeah, and if you are the one that's lonely, that seems to have everybody disappear, don't feel like you're burdening people. Make sure you reach out to people. Let them know you need help. Don't feel like you don't want to put anything else on their plate. I know that I've had some clients that say things like they don't want to be a burden. They don't want to, give anything else to someone else, because they know those people have a lot of things going on. Those people love you, so they want to help you. They want to be there for you. There's just sometimes they don't know, because if they've got other things going on, remember, it's on your mind, not necessarily theirs. That doesn't mean they don't love that person that passed away, but it means that they have got other things they have to do. So please tell them, let them know, hey, I need to talk. I would like a hug, or whatever it is that you need. So the other thing.
All right, so part 2 is the elephant in the room, the awkwardness about what to say or not to say. Each person is an individual, like we've pointed out before, and so certainly for folks that you're interacting with, you're going to have to, them pretty well, hopefully. In those situations, you're going to kind of be a better judge of what to say and what not to say for what's appropriate. But you just, I would say, don't shy away from or be scared to say something. I wouldn't dwell on it, but there's nothing wrong, obviously, with saying, you're sorry, or sorry for your loss, or sorry that such and such occurred. For folks that don't know, that's something that maybe it comes up in conversation. The best example, we talked about this before, is for us, because we lost a child. It comes up when people ask you how many children you have. Yeah. And so it's kind of this awkward thing where you're like, well, do I tell them I had 6 kids? Or do I tell them I have 5 kids? Or, so if I tell them 6, do I quantify that I lost the child? And that makes the other person feel awkward. I don't know if there's a really good solution to it. Sometimes at least I do, sometimes I'll just say 5. And then other times I might, if I know the person a little better, I might tell them 6 and might let them know that we lost a child and we have 5 now. So it's just one of those things that comes up that just in our situation. Obviously there's other situations, but That's the most common that comes up for us, where it's like awkward that reoccurs on a regular basis, where you're meeting people and they always want to know how many kids you have usually. And so then it's like, well, do I open this can of worms or not about the fact that we lost a child? Because that's going to make the other person feel a certain way.
Right.
So you just have to kind of play it by ear. But, if it does come up, then that's obviously something the person, don't feel awkward about it when it comes up. And just, usually most people are quick to say, I'm sorry for your loss, but they feel like they stepped into something and they want to kind of backtrack out of it. So a lot of times I won't say anything. I'll just say 5 and let it go with that.
See, and I'm completely opposite. I always say 6 because I don't want to not include her. She's our daughter, and for me it's very important to include her. So I go through the explanation whether people want to know or not. I don't know. That's just the way it is. She's our daughter. She's part of our family, and that's what I tell like people.
It just depends.
It depends on the person.
I don't do the same thing every time.
Yeah. So, I even wrote her name on birthday cards. I still do. And I say, you can do that to leave her legacy, or the person's legacy. You can say so-and-so in heaven if you need to. You don't have to do stuff like that. That's for me. That's not for her. That's not for anybody else. It's for me. So, but you have anything?
Yeah. So just to summarize this part, I'd say, don't be afraid to talk to people, especially if they offered up and say something about it. Don't feel awkward or upset. Overly upset, but just, it's okay to talk about it. It's not going to be a big thing, I don't think, for most people. If they've said that they've lost somebody, then, you can obviously show the normal sympathy that I'm sure most people would want to do. And then it doesn't have to be a big thing, and you just file that away and understand that person has had a loss, and it may have been recent, it may be not, but it's something that's close to them and that they felt like sharing with you.
And I would add, and this is the last thing I would add, is that the biggest thing is you just need to listen. Don't search for things to say to the person. Don't try to say things that you don't know, because people can get triggered. The best thing to say is, hey, do you want to talk about it? Or I'd love to hang out with you. I'd love to talk to you. How are you doing? Address that person and let them know you care. And that's, showing love is the biggest thing I think could help people get over things. But so we're kind of out of time right now, but we want to thank you for watching. And if you have any requests for video topics that you would like to hear about, we'd love to talk to you about them. Just leave us a comment and we will be glad to see if we can cover that for you. All right.
Absolutely.
And continue to be blessed and bless others, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.